Have you ever thought to yourself, who am I? Yeah, me too. It's a question we all ask ourselves, and we ought to know the answer, but asking the question means that maybe we aren't so sure who we are. Perhaps we know who we should be or who we want to be, but who I am right here, right now, is an interesting idea to think about. But if we don't know who we are, how can we be our best, live out our values, and pursue our goals and dreams with intention and confidence? Talking about identity. Hi, it's Chad Husted with TeamQuadzilla.com, here to share a mental fitness thought of the day, because we know that healthy living starts between your ears. So who are you? Where does one's identity come from? Maybe identity comes from one's work, or from their special skill or talent, or maybe from what others say, or from their family or other associations. You know, I'm an engineer, or a mom, or a teacher, or a photographer, or a Jackson, or a Smith. I'm funny, smart, kind. Others say that I'm whatever, fill in the blank. These are all nice and positive things, but is it really who you are? What I mean is, if any of these things went away, would you also cease to exist? Well, of course not. In her popular book, Daring Greatly, author Brené Brown says that basing your identity on what you do or what other people think of you is giving up all control of your life and volunteering yourself as, I quote, a prisoner of pleasing, performing, and perfecting, end quote. Maybe you can relate to that as I can. Believing that I must do or be certain things to have value, meaning, and identity. Geez, it's exhausting. Some of us are stuck believing the negative things that we hear or say to ourselves even. I'm not good enough, or I'm dumb, I'm ugly, I'm not good at anything, I'm weak or afraid, or I'm just a whatever. Surely our identity can't be this negative either. Now, I wrestle with such negative thinking about myself, and I recently heard something very helpful from the author of the book Wild at Heart, John Eldredge, who suggests that my identity is not based on the agreements with the negative voice in my ear. I must choose to disagree with this voice. Instead of saying, I am an addict, for example, I say, I'm not an addict, but rather I battle addictions. Or I could say, I'm not a depressed person, but rather I battle depression. You see the difference? It's not just semantics. You are separating the trait from who you are. And we all battle something, right? So our battle is not our identity. You see, our identity can never be based on what others think of us or even what we think of ourselves. Identity has to come from something deeper and greater. And so for a person of faith, identity makes sense. We are made in God's image for a purpose that only we can fulfill, and we are dearly loved and treasured and protected by God and adopted into His family as sons and daughters with all the rights and blessings that go with it in this life and for all eternity. Such truth is found in His Word, and those who believe can base their identity on that truth. But what pains me about this idea of identity is that for those who don't believe, I'm not sure where their ultimate sense of identity comes from. Wherever it does, it cannot be unconditional and unshakable as having identity based on the truth of God's love. So whether identity comes from one's work or from their skill or talent or maybe from themselves or other people, these will all eventually disappoint and leaves the person feeling imprisoned and unsure of who they really are. And so it makes me wonder if, could such faulty thinking be a source for the rampant depression and mental illness and poor behavior we see today? I can't say for sure, but I believe it must be a contributing factor. So, look, I know I'm not going to convince anyone by my words that trusting God with your identity is the way to go. But I can tell you from my own experience that this is a game changer. As a recovering performer, people pleaser, and believer of the lies that I tell myself about how bad I am, I can tell you without a doubt that understanding how God sees me and how much He loves me, and as I have firmed up my identity, boosted my esteem, and it provides me the hope and confidence for today and for my future. And such hope is liberating. So I hope you can see that as I have. Thank you for watching your Team Quadzilla Mental Fitness Thought of the Day.